true, is it not, that a Colombian necklace is a situation where drug dealers will slice the neck of a victim, including the carotid artery, in order to kill the victims and to instill fear and send a message to others who have not either paid for their drugs or have been informing to the police? Isn't that what a Colombian necklace is?
I've heard that.
And, sir, isn't it true that you, in your experience, know about drug killings where knives have been used? Isn't that correct?
I do have knowledge of knives being used, yes.
Comment, Dominic?
Well, I think once again, if the prosecution was organized, one lawyer sitting there, the case would flow with some sort of direction. You've got too many personalities, too many lawyers, too many theories.
This has been the greatest example of some of the greatest ineptitude on the parts of both sides. Every bit of damaging evidence ever elicited from any witness came on cross-examination from this so-called dream team. This was incredible. 7 days this man...
I was just going to say, this detective, first of all, should never have been kept on 7, 8 days. This is ridiculous. They're opening it wide up. What he's talking about now, this Colombian necktie, is when they slice the throat and then they pull the tongue out. That's when someone rats on somebody. But my point is, they've got guns. Drug dealers shoot people in the head. They're not going to waste time to stab someone 27 times. She has on the top of her head, O.J.'s wife has on the top of her head an indentation from a blunt trauma. What I really believe, she has no blood on the bottom of her feet. What I believe, she was not killed immediately. She, I believe, was knocked out. He dealt with Ron. That's why he had defensive wounds. He knew he had to kill her. And when you kill somebody, you can stab them 30 times and they may not die. But if you slice their head off, it went down 1/4 of an inch into her spinal cord. Why don't you listen to something why don't you listen to fact? The knife went into her spinal cord 1/4 of an inch, meaning that he had to be bearing down on her. He tried to take her head off. Now, what we're saying is, O.J. was my hero too, but all I'm saying is, until the defense gives their side of it, as far as I'm concerned right now, I haven't seen anything that he didn't do.
There's another side to this case nobody's dealing with yet either. Public policy is going to be set by the outcome of this case for many, many years to come, and all of us taxpayers are going to be affected by it, because you're going to have more funding for domestic violence, more funding for date rape, and all of those things.
But what if he did it? Should he go to jail?
Over here at the end, how he came to the conclusion that O.J. is guilty.
Let me do it in reverse. Do you realize what it would take for there to be a conspiracy so great, so brilliant, so ingenious, where you would have to predict the future in order to simultaneously create a situation where simultaneously a murder occurred that happened to coincide like a glove with everything that O.J. was involved with. It is impossible.
For the fact you have 25 people involved with it. That meant 25. If they were going to do a conspiracy, they would have done it with King.
I want to get this one point out. A wife of a celebrity telephoned me because she was in an NAAA meeting with Faye Resnick, and to do this herself would have been giving up her, I guess you pronounce it, anonymity. What she's, however you say it, Faye Resnick and her boyfriend took up 45 minutes of an NA meeting at Exodus House. The boyfriend accused Faye Resnick of having something to do with Nicole's death. So Faye said, well, how can you say this to me? You know, I talked to Nicole the night before she died. She came to visit me. He said, well, what if it was some of the people that you brought around her? And that is what the defense is talking about.
What does that have to do with it?
I'm just talking about the whole drug connection. I'm just talking about the entire drug connection.
As O.J.,
exact same
by the way, there's 28 blood testings. Each one is 1 billion error. So 28 billion errors would have to occur to find that one person. By the way, he might be on Mars.
See, the root problem in a lot of this is that almost all of the men in the courtroom got a white woman. Even Judge Ito got a white woman. He only married
white.
We'll be right back on that note. And then I'll take your question, okay? The surveys have been alarmingly consistent. 2 out of every 3 white Americans believes O.J. Simpson to be guilty. It is exactly the flip side for African Americans. More than 2 out of every 3 believe O.J. Simpson is innocent. And being framed by the L.A. Police Department, this is a racial reality, the dirty little secret in the Simpson case. Mercury Morris, your comment.
First of all, I think when you look at those numbers over there, you have to remember that 20 years ago, 25 years ago, it didn't matter about the 68% of blacks and what they thought. Because in this country, that was not a relevant issue. What sticks out in my mind here is, first of all, that stuff you talked about, the DNA and the dropping of the blood, and this is why he's guilty, and all that stuff, you recognize you made that up. You understand that that's not the truth, it's just what you're saying. No, shut up. Hey, hold it, man. Why are you yelling? Just let me respond to what you're saying. And speak to me. All I'm trying to do is make a point here. I'm not looking for you.
What was made up about DNA tests?
No DNA test. What was made up was...
What makes you a homicide expert?
What makes me is just a regular human being saying one thing. Is that nothing that you said that made him guilty is the truth. It's just what you said. The jury will make the conclusion as to whether or not the facts and the evidence bear in existence of the possibility of him being guilty. Let me finish, man. Let me finish. You want to notice?
Every criminal ever interviewed in jailhouse C-cell block says, I didn't do it, I was framed, I was innocent. Criminals will always say that they're innocent.
Well,
you want to believe them or the honest, law-abiding people?
Hey, who's the honest, law-abiding people you're talking? Hey, man, look at me. I'm over here. Hey, my friend, look at me. I'm over here. Who's the honest, law-abiding people you're talking about?
Sell
I'm asking you one thing. Who's the law-abiding citizen you're talking to? Hey, read that decision right there. Read the decision right there. That's what you'll get. Regina Garza, you're a clown, man. You are a clown. Regina Garza, you in that red hat. You're a clown. Okay. You don't know nothing about this case. No, I did not. No, I did not. I made the fatal mistake of doing that in front of a white audience. You're a liar. You want me? Hey, you want to get sued? Do you want to get sued? I didn't cop out to anything, you jerk.
No.
Read the decision. Okay. Read the decision. You're a jerk. Stop it. I'm calling you a jerk.
Like you away for dealing cocaine.
Yeah, you know what? And the people from the Supreme Court let us out.
All right, on the technicality.
Because people like you don't make the decision.
You away.
People like you don't make the decision.
That's right. No,
that's why you're sitting where you are.
You're a jerk. You're a jerk. Don't be running that. You're the punk. You're a punk. You're the punk over here. How you run that someplace else? Don't be calling me no punk. Come on. Yeah, you make me sick because you can't do a battle. He nailed you. Sit down. Yeah. Well, let him sit down, too.
Make it look like it's the truth.
Yeah. You did it. You did the time.
The Supreme Court overturned it.
You copped out to something, didn't you?
No, I didn't cop out to anything.
No.
Stop.
No. You copped out to something, you fool. I didn't deal nothing. Don't be telling me that.
You know what you're dealing? You're dealing lies now. That's what you're dealing. I'm telling that this man did it.
Maybe nobody's
you don't know if he did it. Nobody knows if he did it.
Maybe nobody's killing people out there. Maybe blacks ain't killing blacks.
What are you trying to be
Maybe
cute
nobody's
about?
doing this.
Hey, you know something?
What?
You're a white guy. You're a white guy.
I'm not a white guy.
Lives in a white world.
I look at you like a man.
You're a white guy that lives in a white world.
I don't look at you like
There's no way you can't.
Take a break.
Take a break. Shut the light. Take a break.
When black people say 68% he is not guilty, what I say to that is that black people understand what the Constitution stands for.
They don't mean that.
And
They don't mean that.
excuse me. Okay.
Don't say that. Hold it, man. Are you telling me? Wait. What they are you talking about? Wait, I want to know about the they.
68% do not believe that a Martian came down and killed these people.
Hey, quit trying to be cute with that stuff. Why are you trying to be cute?
I can't believe O.J. did it. I hope O.J. didn't do it. I know how racist the LA police are.
And then the other side of that...
Nobody is that stupid as to think that a Martian or somebody else did this. Nobody thinks that.
That's ridiculous.
80%. A scoundrel.
Nobody thinks this.
We have more black men in prison than any other race of people.
1 out of
we don't have a
10 black
we don't have a perfect
1 out of 10
system.
blacks make
We don't have a perfect system that can find all the black criminals and leave all the white criminals
Why
out.
is everything racist?
You understand?
Why?
We don't have a perfect system that can arrest all of the black criminals and let all the white criminals go. And so the fact that more of our black men and black women are in jail than white men and white women, it just shows again how racist the system is. Because it's more white people doing evil than black people.
Let me ask you something. Do you think, excuse me, do you think that given the Byron Della Beckwith case that lasted for 33 years, right? And this guy, there was unequivocal supposed evidence that existed for 33 years. He had an all-white jury, they found him not guilty. He had another all-white jury, they found him not guilty. 33 years passed by, and now he has blacks on the jury, and they find him guilty of the same evidence that existed 33 years ago.
Because it was the rifle. Let me ask you, did you think Byron Della Beckwith was guilty, or did you give him the presumption of innocence that you want O.J. to have? You knew he was guilty before the first piece of evidence came in.
First of all, you just asked me that.
You're a hypocrite because he's white.
And then you answered the same question you asked me. Now you're telling me. Give me an opportunity to answer and I'll respond.
Go.
The answer is, given that I've gone through this system, I don't presume anybody guilty until everybody is found out.
Did you know Byron Della Beckwith was guilty?
Are you going to let me answer?
Did you know he was guilty?
I had no knowledge of it anymore.
Dominic Barbara.
Mr. Morris, Mercury,
Dominic Barbara.
May I ask you a question?
Then 2 to 1 he might have been guilty.
Excuse me, ma'am. May I ask you a question, sir?
Ma'am.
You're someone I say that to everyone. It's respectful.
No, I'm just saying, at least now you respect me.
First, I respect you as a football player.
Don't respect me as a football player. Don't respect me as a football player.
As a man.
You notice how you said football first.
Well,
I want
knew you
respect
that.
as a man
I knew you
first. No. A man first. A football player is not relevant in this issue.
Yes, sir.
That's the problem.
I agree. I agree and stand corrected. I first respect you as a man. I second respect you as a football player. I third respect you as someone who went through something in your life, and I've been to one of your speeches where you're speaking and talk about your life, how you turned it around, and what you've done with your life. I respect all that. My question to you is, knowing what you've been through, knowing that you were in prison, why would you now want your validation to be based on O.J.?
I don't want any validation based on O.J. Who said that?
Well, because when you...
Is that how it occurs to you?
No, it occurs to me because when you discuss the O.J. case, you keep bringing your case in.
He can do that.
I would have never...
You know why? Because that allows me to speak from...
brother. He can do that.
No, you see, that's the problem. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah, I know that's the problem.
He brings the case.
Before we get to our own closing arguments, let me note the new book by Sherazad Ali. It's the confidential test for African Americans to test your freedom IQ and find out. And here's the title: Are you still a slave? Sherazad Ali. Okay, Curtis Lewa, will you do the summation for the people?
We've lived in an era in which there's been a criminal turnstile justice system for both black and white criminals, and we're all aware of that. But in final analysis, I'll tell you this, as a white man, I wouldn't mind being judged by 12 African Americans because we have to believe that they're Americans first and foremost, and they're going to judge us based on the facts.
Nigel Ennis will add his word.
I agree. I believe I have a lot of faith in those 8 black jurors and 3 white jurors and 1 Latino juror. I think they're going to come back with the right verdict. The reason that 68% is out there is because black folk feel they have a racial obligation to rally behind O.J. We do not. Read your history. I'm sure Sherazad will talk about mythology, but there is real history. We are a good enough people to not have to rally around an O.J. or Johnny Cox.
For the defense. Hello.
I think that a jury will be fair. I think that 8 black women on a jury may even hurt O.J. because being a black woman with most of my friends and all of my relatives being black, when he was first arrested, they were all calling me up saying that's what he gets being married to the white woman anyway. So I think that you all are looking at a lot of different things, but I feel if the man is guilty, he was found guilty. But if he's innocent, he'll be found innocent.
Mercury Morrison, this is it.
I think it's presumptuous in this day and age to take 12 people off the street and then put them in a room and all of a sudden declare that they are to have the utmost integrity and find a way in which their own personal lives and their personal venues will not enter into this. It is really ludicrous to think that that's going to occur. All you have to do is hope for the best that these people are going to do what's right by other human beings.
At a time, thank you very much. Thank you, folks, for watching.